Hello. You both coming to join? Hi kids, I'm Charlie and thank you for joining me for today's yoga class. Possum and Milky might be joining us for some of it as well. Are you going to come and say hello? We want to say a special hello to our friend Daphne that we know is watching. And I'm sorry if anyone tuned in for Wednesday's class, but something went wrong with the internet and I had no idea and I kept doing the whole class and had no idea that you couldn't see me. So I'm so sorry for that. So I hope everyone's had a lovely morning so far. We want to get started and remember that we have our blanket with us when we lie down later on. You can have a little bit of oil or cream if you want with you, and we give ourselves a bit of a massage, but don't worry if you don't, we can just rub our hands together like I do. And usually we have a little book or a teddy to put on our head when we're doing our balancing poses, but today we're not going to need that because we're going to be doing a slightly more difficult class today than we usually do. I'm going to add some new harder poses. We're going to do a lot of balancing and it's going to be a little bit more grown up, our class today, than it usually is. So let's put all of our stuff away and make sure that we have a nice clear mat. At the moment, mine's not very clear because I have two cats, but they'll move, hopefully, a little bit later on. Won't you, Possum? Won't you, Milky? So we want to have a nice clear mat all around us. Make sure that you can wave your arms and there's nothing that you're going to trip over. If you've got some socks on, then you might want to take those off as well so that we don't slip. And if you've got long hair like me, then let's tie it back and make sure that it doesn't get in the way either. So, as I'm sure some of you know, yoga comes from the country India, but people all around the world do yoga to be healthy and calm. And in India, or in yoga, to say hello and goodbye, it's the same word. We say namaste, and we put our hands at our heart because namaste means I give the light in my heart to you. So it's a lovely thing to say to people. And we're going to remember how we say that by singing a little song 3 times together. So it goes like this. Hello, everybody, or in the yoga way, we say namaste. Let's do that 2 more times together. Hello, everybody, or in the yoga way, we say namaste. Once more. Hello, everybody, or in the yoga way, we say namaste. Wonderful. Okay. So we want to be in our sitting position, and also very important is to remember that we don't want to turtle our back like a turtle shell. We want to make sure that when we're sitting down and throughout the day in our chairs that we sit really, really tall. And this is really important so that we don't get an achy back and that we have a lovely posture throughout the day. So I want you to imagine that someone's pulling a string from the top of your head up to the sky, and you're growing as tall as you can with a nice straight back and a nice straight neck. So the most important thing in yoga is our breathing. And I always say you can do this whole yoga class without eating, and you can do this whole yoga class without drinking anything, but you can't do the whole yoga class without breathing, because the air that we take in through our nose fills all of our body with lovely, healthy energy. So we're going to start with our balloon breathing, and then we're going to do another one that's a little bit harder than it usually is. So our balloon breathing, we want to put our middle fingers together and put it on our belly, and we want to fill our balloon when we're breathing in. So we're going to take a big breath in with the nose, and we're going to feel the balloon in our belly get really, really big, and then we're going to breathe out and feel the balloon get really small. Breathing in. Feel the balloon about to pop, the belly get really big, and feel the belly go all the way back. And again. And again. Feel that balloon get even bigger. And feel it get really, really small. Go all the way into your back. And we're going to do it one more time, but we're going to try to make breathing out, the exhale, really, really long. So last time, a big inhale. Feel that balloon get big, and a really long. Wonderful. Okay. So now we're going to do our bunny breath and our birthday cake breath, and we're going to do one after the other. So let's remind ourselves our bunny breath. We're going to put our hands on our head like bunny ears, and we're going to imagine there's a lovely juicy smelling carrot just under our nose, and we're going to sniff it 3 times. And we're going to put our arms down. So we do 3 sniffs, and then we say, ha. And then we do our birthday cake breath straight away afterwards. So for our birthday cake breath, I want you to imagine the most wonderful tasting birthday cake that you can imagine, with candles on the cake, and it's about just in front of us where Possum is. And we're going to take a big breath in, and then we're going to blow our candles out in 3 blows. So we're going to do a bunny breath, and then we're going to do a birthday cake breath. And we're going to do this 2 times. So let's start with our hands on our ears for our bunny breath. Ready? 3 sniffs. And then a nice big breath in for our birthday cake breath. 3 blows. Lovely. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. We're going to give a nice big sniff, 3 big sniffs of our carrot. And then we're going to do 3 big blows of our birthday cake. So all together, bunny ears ready. 3 sniffs. Hands down. And then a big breath in for our birthday cake breath. Lovely. Okay. So we're going to start off with our sun dance. And I know that Daphne in particular loves the sun dance. So we're going to do it, but we're going to add a new pose to make it the way the grown-ups do it. So making it a little bit harder than we usually do. So let's all stand up, and we want to come to the front of our mat, and we want to start with standing really, really tall. So we can have our feet together, or if that's uncomfortable, you can have them a little bit apart. And just like when we were sitting, we want to have a really tall back and neck, pulling the head up to the sky. Make sure that we're not doing a turtle shell. Want to stand up nice and tall to look strong and confident. So I'm going to go through the different poses, and we're going to do this slowly to begin with, and then we're going to do it a bit faster and then even faster. So let's go through the moves. We start with our hands rounded like a sun, and the sun is going to rise up into the sky, and this is our sun pose. And then we're going to do our rain pose. We're going to sprinkle our fingers all the way down so that they touch the floor. We can bend our knees if we want. We want to create a puddle of water just underneath us. Now the new pose is called the running pose. So just like a runner, we're going to step one of our feet back. And just like runners, when they start a race, they stretch the back heel as far back as they can. And then we carry on as we usually do. So we're going to come into our table pose. So stepping our feet back, make sure your shoulders are over your wrists and become a really strong table. Lift your bottom as if someone's putting a really heavy pot on top of the table. You want to be really strong. Let's see if you can hold it for one more breath. And then we're going to come all the way down, and we're going to do our snake pose. So we're going to put our feet together. We're going to squeeze our bottom, and we're going to lift ourselves up and give ourselves a big hiss. like a slithering snake. And then we're going to do our puppy dog pose. So we're going to lift ourselves up, walk our feet a little bit forwards and waggle our tails. Bending each knee and waggling our tails from side to side. We want really straight arms and a really straight back. And you can even say woof, 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 woof. And from our puppy dog pose, we're going to do our floppy teddy pose. So we're going to jump forwards to our hands and we're going to flop over as far as we can. And we want really straight legs and floppy arms and neck. And you should be able to feel a bit of a stretch in the back of your legs. And then we finish just as we started with our sun, putting our middle fingers together and rounding our arms and rising up like the rising sun in the morning, rising all the way up. So let's do that all together again. We're going to do it a little bit faster. So starting at the front of your mats with your arms rounded and slowly stretching up as high as you can, a really big sun in the sky. And then our rain pose, sprinkling all the way down. And then our runner pose, we're going to stretch the other leg back this time and push that heel to the back. And then our table pose, both feet back, nice and strong, lifting the bottom and then coming down for our snake pose, feet together, squeezing the bottom and then our puppy dog pose, lifting our bottoms up and waggling our tails from side to side. Nice straight arms, push back. And then our floppy teddy pose, jumping forwards and flopping over with your legs really straight. And then coming up with the rising sun, lifting all the way up. And let's go straight into the next round, sprinkling those fingers all the way down, stretching the other leg now into our runner pose. Push the heel and then into our table pose. And Milky sometimes likes coming under the table, don't you, Milky? And then coming all the way down for our snake pose. And then into our puppy dog pose. Lifting up, waggling our tail. Make sure that your back and your arms are really straight. And then our floppy teddy pose. Flopping over as much as you can. And lifting up with the sun. And let's do it one more time, even faster, sprinkling the rain all the way down. Stretching the other leg back. And then coming into our table pose. And then all the way. And then our puppy dog pose. Lifting up, waggle that tail. And jumping forwards. And flopping over for our floppy teddy pose. And then coming all the way up with the rising sun. And relaxing. Lovely. Okay. So now we're going to start getting into some more difficult balancing poses. And we're going to start with becoming a twinkling star. So we want to spread our legs and become a big, big star. And we're going to twinkle our fingers, growing really tall. And then we're going to twinkle our fingers all the way to one side and see if we can lift our leg. And then all the way to the other side and see if we can lift the other leg. And then again, all the way to the other side, twinkling those fingers, maybe lifting up even higher. And coming back. And to the other side, seeing if you can lift even higher this time. Lovely, and the stars are twinkling in the sky. And then we're going to do a falling star. So a star that's fallen all the way down to earth. So we're going to come down and I'm going to show you how we do the fallen star pose. So we're going to put our elbow down on the floor with the hand facing towards the front. And we're going to put one leg on top of the other And we're going to lift up. And this is how we do our fallen star pose. Lifting the bottom up. Excuse me, Milky. They can't see my hand. And then we're going to come down. And we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to put the other elbow on the floor with the hand facing forward. We're going to put one foot on top of the other. And we're going to reach up if we can, as high as we can, lifting the bottom really, really high. Lovely, and gently coming down. Okay, now I'm going to teach you the car pose. So this is another balance where we're going to be on one hand and one leg or one knee. So let's put our hands down and come onto all fours like this. And we're going to stretch one leg back and the opposite arm. So not the same arm side as the leg, the other one. And we're going to stretch those fingers forwards and stretch the toes back nice and straight. Make sure your arm isn't down or your leg. We want to be nice and straight. And then we bring them down and the car moves and we stretch the other leg all the way back and the other arm. Purling those fingers forwards. Purling the toes back. And then gently coming back down. Wonderful. So that's our car pose. And now we're going to do one that I think you'll remember, which is the aeroplane. So this is quite a difficult balancing pose as well. So we're going to stand up and we're going to create big aeroplane wings, stretching our arms out. Really pull your fingers all the way out. And we're going to lift one leg up behind us and slowly come forwards like an aeroplane flying in the sky. And maybe your toes are just a little bit off the floor, and that's fine. Or we can take ourselves all the way forwards if you can, lifting the leg up. Wherever you're comfortable today, remember to breathe, and you can fix your eye on something, your eyes, so that you can balance and you don't fall. And then gently try with the other leg, because sometimes the other leg is easier. So let's open up our wings again and take ourselves forward slowly, raising the leg as much as you can, wherever you're comfortable today. Even if it's just a little bit off the floor, that's absolutely fine. And then gently come back down. Wonderful. So now we're going to do 3 bird poses. So the first one is very similar to the aeroplane pose, but we're going to gently flap our wings. So we're going to stand once again nice and tall, take one of our legs back, raise our arms and flap our wings nice and slowly, raising the leg as much as you want to. And I want you to imagine your bird, any color, any type of bird, and then gently coming down. And trying with the other leg because we might find it easier. So we're going to stretch that one back, raise up our lovely bird wings, imagining the color of your bird. Mine's blue and green. Beautiful bird flying in the sky. Lovely. And then coming down. Okay, now we're going to do the flamingo pose. So flamingos have their wings by their side, and they usually stand on one leg. So we're going to lift one leg up really, really high with our flamingo wings, and we're going to try to balance, lifting the knee as high as we can, pointing the toe like a beautiful, tall, elegant flamingo. Nice and tall. Lovely. And then we're going to put that leg down and we're going to raise the other one up. Maybe the other one goes even higher, or maybe you're a little bit wobbly and you want to have it a little bit lower down. Let's raise it up. Keep breathing. And then gently letting it come down. Wonderful. And then the third bird that we're going to do is the ostrich. And ostriches are very, very tall, and they have big round bodies and big round wings by their side. So we're going to do the ostrich pose, which means we just lift one leg up behind and just point the toe. And then we come into our big ostrich wings. And we grow really tall. Fix your eyes on something to help you stay still. Keep breathing. And then gently coming down. And we're going to try with the other leg, lifting it up behind us. Big ostrich wings, growing really tall. See if you can take another 2 breaths. Maybe the ostrich wings can lift a little bit as you breathe in. The belly gets big and their belly gets small again. Wonderful. Feel free to shake it out if you want to. Sometimes the body gets a little bit stiff when we're doing our balances. Okay, the next pose we're going to do is a soldier. And as I'm sure you know, soldiers are tall and strong and they walk like this. So the soldier poses, we're going to put one hand on our head like we're saluting our captain. And we're going to raise the other leg of the opposite side up into the air as high as we can. Maybe it's just a little bit off the floor today, and that's fine. Otherwise, we're going to raise it up as high as we can, like a tall soldier, nice and still in our balancing pose. Keep breathing. And then putting it down. Lovely. And then the other hand comes up to salute the captain, and we raise the other leg nice and high. Maybe this leg goes even higher, or maybe you find it a little bit harder or a little bit easier to balance. And then putting it down. Wonderful. And you can bend your legs and give yourself a bit of a shake. Okay, now we're going to do the tree pose. And this is a slightly different tree maybe to one that you've seen usually in yoga. So we're going to put one foot on top of the other to make a really strong trunk of a tree, just balancing on one foot. And we're going to point our hands up above us like a beautiful pine tree, nice and strong, lifting up through the fingers and the head, just balancing on one foot. And you can cross the foot around the ankle a little bit if you want, like a lovely twisting trunk of a tree. And then we're going to try on the other leg. Remember, there's always one leg that's a bit easier in a pose. We want a really strong trunk, raising the arms up, pointing the fingers like a tall pine tree in the forest. And you can imagine the tree. And releasing. Lovely. Now we're going to do what I call the flower pose. And this is one of my favorite, but it's a little bit difficult as a balance. So we're going to start first of all, crouching down just on our tiptoes. And we're going to put our hands together. And we're going to imagine that we're a seed under the soil. And it starts raining and the sun's shining. And we start blooming, rising up through the soil. Rising, rising, rising. And we're going to start coming up and up and up. And we're going to create a leaf on our stem by bending one of our legs. And we can have the foot just under the knee, or maybe it will go above the knee. And our petals are going to bloom outwards like a beautiful flower. Nice open leaf. And lovely blooming petals. Feel yourself grow really tall up through the head. And then gently come down. And then we're going to do the other side. Opening up a leaf on the other side of the stem now. Arms go up and open out like a beautiful flower. And maybe this flower's a different one. Opening up. Growing really tall. Seeing if you can balance on that foot. Lovely. And then coming down. Wonderful. Okay, now we're going to do the hardest balance of all. So we're going to knot our fingers like this, knotting our fingers, and we're going to knot our legs. So this is the knot pose. So we're going to come into a knot by bending down and crossing one leg over the other, bending down as much as we can. And maybe you can even wrap the foot around the calf. So wrapping it all the way around. Maybe your leg is just resting on top for your knot pose. Maybe you can cross the top of your legs, and maybe you can even wrap that foot all the way around. And look at something, keep breathing to help you balance, and then unwrap the legs and shake out the arms. Lovely. Let's try on the other side. So let's interlace or lock our fingers together, make them into a knot with our legs, crossing it round. And maybe this one, you're just resting here, or you can cross the legs, or maybe on this side, you can even get the foot all the way around the bottom of your leg. And we want to lower down as much as we can, like a knot. Maybe you can even wrap your arms around like this to make an even bigger knot. And then gently unwrap the legs and shake it all out. Wonderful. Okay. We're going to come down and sit on the mat and do one last balance. And this one's a fun one. It's called the boat pose. And this time we're not going to be balancing on our legs. We're going to be balancing on our bottoms. So to do the boat pose, are you coming to join me for the boat pose? Yeah? Come and sit down. So for the boat pose, we're going to balance on our bottoms. And we're going to lift our legs and our arms and row our boat. We want to lift the legs as high as they can, balancing on our bottom. Don't worry if you fall forwards a little bit. You can lift them back up. Row your boat. Make sure the back is really straight. So you don't want to round your back into that turtle shell. You want to sit up really tall. Row the boat. See if you can row it a little bit more. Lovely. And then letting the feet come down. Fantastic. Okay, let's all sit with our legs crossed. And we're going to do the bumblebee breath. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, and then we're going to close the mouth, and we're going to make the buzzing sound of a bumblebee, like this. And that's the bumblebee breath. So we're going to do it 2 more times, but the next time we're going to put the hands over the ears so that we can really, really feel the vibrating and the flapping wings, the buzzing in our head. So let's take a big breath in and buzzing. Can you feel your lips buzzing and the buzzing really loud in your ears? So we're going to do it one last time, but this time we're going to close the eyes and we're going to try to make the buzz really long, but really, really quiet. A really low buzzing. So let's put our hands on our ears, close our eyes, take a big breath in, and wonderful. And the buzzing bee breath is really good to do when you're feeling a bit angry or a bit annoyed. You can just take one big breath in, close the eyes, and softly make your buzzing sound. And it should make you feel really calm. So before we finish off lying down, we're going to give ourselves a little massage. So you can use your oil if you like, or you can just rub your hands together. And we're going to massage our feet with our thumbs and our fingers, pressing into them, helping them relax after all the balancing that we've been doing. Think of all the running and the jumping and the dancing and the playing that we do on our feet. So we want to massage the top of the feet and all the toes just pressing into them, saying thank you and helping our feet relax after everything that they do. And then we want to put our feet together and massage our hands, pressing one thumb and the fingers into the front of the hand and the back of the hand and all along the fingers, really helping the hands relax. And the other hand, thinking of everything that our hands do and all the work they do, picking things up, helping us eat with our knife and our fork, drawing, painting, playing. And then we want to shake out our hands and our feet, really help them relax completely. And then we're going to get our blanket and we're going to lie all the way down onto the mat, relaxing completely. Let ourselves flop down and just relax nice and heavy into the mat. Like a really floppy piece of spaghetti after it's been cooked. So we don't want to be hard like a spaghetti. We want to just let the body be really, really floppy. And we're going to close our eyes and we're going to take one deep, big breath, imagining that our belly is a balloon. So a big breath in through the nose. Feel the belly go up and then breathing out. Feel the belly go all the way down to the mat. And as you close your eyes, I'd like you to think of all the different poses that you've done. I'd like you to imagine the star moving from side to side and the fallen star lifting the arm up of the other. And then I want you to imagine the car pose that we did on our hands and our knees, and the aeroplane pose, flying in the sky, and then our 3 bird poses. So I want you to imagine any type of bird that you want. Any bird flying in the sky. It can be any color. You can make up the bird. It can be rainbow colored. It can be big or small. Imagine its wings and its tail and its beak. And then I want you to imagine a flamingo bird. Beautiful and tall, a bright pink flamingo, standing on one leg in the middle of a beautiful pond. And then I want you to imagine a beautiful black and white ostrich, also standing really tall. They're even taller than the flamingo, standing on one leg with the other leg making the little tail of the ostrich and your arms big and round, making the body and the wings of your ostrich. And now I want you to imagine the soldier standing in line with all the other soldiers, raising your leg up and saluting the captain. And now with your eyes closed, I want you to imagine a tree, a beautiful tall pine tree in the forest with a strong trunk and beautiful green leaves going all the way up, really, really high. And now I want you to imagine a little seed under the soil, slowly sprouting through the soil. You can see the little green stalk beginning to rise up and up, blooming into a beautiful flower on one side. And I want you to imagine this flower, its colors, its shape. Maybe you have a favorite flower already, and I want you to imagine that flower and imagine that another leaf appears on the other side of the stalk. And then I want you to imagine the knot that you made with your body, wrapping your fingers together and wrapping your legs around each other into the knot pose. And then to finish off, I want you to imagine a boat. If you remember, you were balancing on your bottom, but I want you to imagine on a beautiful, be a little rowing boat. It can be a yacht with a sail. It can be a really big boat. Any type of boat. And I want you to imagine slowly floating with the waves. Just rocking gently from side to side. And then to begin waking ourselves up, we want to wiggle our toes and our fingers. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Do some big circles with your wrists, your hands and your feet. Big, big circles. Let's shake the arms and the legs. Shake, 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 shake. And then we're going to bend our knees, bring them in to our belly, and we're going to see if without using our arms, we can rock ourselves up into a sitting position. Lovely. And let's all sit together with our legs crossed, growing really, really tall. Remember, we don't want a turtle shell for a back. We want to sit really, really tall. So before we finish, I just want to remind you that if you want to do this class again, it'll be on YouTube for 24 hours. Please follow me on social media, Indiv Yoga on Instagram and Facebook. And if you've liked this video, please click the thumb button just below to let me know that you like it. And if you're going to be joining for Wednesday's class at the same time next Wednesday, then please send me your name on Instagram so that I know to do a shout out, or Milky and Possum can say hello to you at the beginning of the class. So if you remember, the same word for goodbye is the same as hello in yoga, the word namaste. So we're going to sing our goodbye song now all together. So it goes like this. Goodbye, everybody, or in the yoga way, we say namaste. Let's sing that 2 more times together. Goodbye, every way, we say namaste. And 1 more time. Goodbye, everybody, or in the yoga way, we say namaste. Lovely. Well done, everybody. Thank you again for joining the class. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Goodbye. Namaste.